Let me check my dials.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is a special meeting of the South Texas for Good Government Group. I'd like to welcome you all here. I'd like to note that this meeting is being recorded, and hopefully we can get some of the TV outlets to play. We have had some success in the past with coverage. We'd like to start off with an invocation, and if you'll all please stand. If you have hats on, please remove them and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. The invocation will be by our director, Herb Ames. Mr. Ames.
Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to hold this good government meeting. And we thank you, Lord, for bringing all these outstanding judges here to be with us tonight. We love and respect you, Lord, and we ask for your guidance in our daily life. We love and respect our families, Lord, and we ask you to guide them. And we love and respect this great country of ours, the greatest country mankind's ever seen, Lord. And last but not least, we ask you to watch over our troops spread around the world fighting terrorism. Thank you, Lord. Amen.
Amen. Our pledge will be led by Roberto, our chairman of the board. Mr. Chairman.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas. In God we trust, one and indivisible. That in God we trust is a new one. State legislation.
Please take your seats. In case I didn't say earlier, I'm going to say the president of the organization. I'd like to make some introductions. At the door, we have our Vice President, Mr. Nacho Vasquez. Our parliamentarian is Robert Mosey. He's here somewhere. Secretary is Geneva Mosley. Margaret and Herb Ames are board, and they're on the board of directors, and they take care of lots of things for us. Our treasurer is Terry Frady, and it's time to pay our dues. Our dues are $10 a year for membership. It's probably tax deductible. We're a registered corporation in the state of Texas. And Charlene Capel is supposed to be on camera, but she's running late. And Mr. Roman Pettis helped us with some of our questions. So it takes an effort to put these things together. It also takes a little bit of money. We have to pay for the rent here. They don't let us have it for free. We also have other expenses, reproduction, so forth. So we're going to pass the hat tonight, and hopefully you'll be generous and come up with something, change anything. But the green stuff is better. Tonight we'll have Sergeant at Arms. We'll have 3 Sergeant at Arms. We have Liz Darrow, Alex Resendez, and Fernando Reese will be keeping order in case anyone didn't check their knives and guns. We're going to do the 445th District Court Forum first, and then after 7 o'clock, shortly after 7 o'clock, we'll do the 444th. So this is a forum, it is not a debate. We're here to learn something about the candidates, and I think that our questions will say something about them. The answers will soon. So, to get us started, if you'll bear with me, I'm going to read the letter that I sent to the candidates, and it sets the tenor of this tonight. Greetings and congratulations from STGG. We wish to commend you in regards to both your candidacy and your previous public service. Anyone that runs for these offices has had previous public service, you can be sure. Thank you for agreeing to participate in our upcoming STG 444 and 445 District Court Candidate Forum scheduled for Wednesday, 16th January. The event will be conducted at the main Brownsville Public Library, that's where we are, starting at 6:05. We're about 5 minutes late, and we will endeavor to complete our program by 8:20. We encourage you to bring your supporters and campaign literature. This program is intended to be a forum and not a debate. Questions suitable for the candidates may be submitted from the audience, which will be reviewed and prepared to STG prepared questions thought to be of interest to the community and the electorate. Both candidate introductions and wrap-up statements will be timed, time-limited, as will the subject question and answer period. Durations will be determined by the moderator, that's me, predicated by time available. The timekeeper, Mr. Robert Uresti, will prompt the speaker near the end of his time allocated. No personal attacks will be allowed, and our moderator and sergeant at arms will keep order. Any specific personal charges or allegations directed toward a fellow candidate who has already addressed the topic at hand will be allowed an equivalent rejoinder, and will have the last word on the matter. So, if you'll just bear with me before we start, I'd like to make a couple of introductions tonight. We have some people that I'd like to allow to come to the podium. Well, let's see. Is Judge, who's here? So, okay. All right. Now, once we finish this tonight, we'll have a 5-minute break in which the candidates will depart. And if you have any other questions, that's the time to catch between here and the back door. And then we'll do our 445 afterwards. We'll have a social with that. So, starting with the 444. Let's introduce these folks. That'd be a good idea. On my left, I have Mr. Robert Mendoza.
I think the instruction was to tell you about myself. My name is Robert H. Mendoza. I'm a lifetime resident of Brownsville, born in Brownsville. My area, or at least where I was born here in Brownsville, and I was raised in Brownsville. And at that time, in the 60s, Brownsville wasn't that big. I was educated and I went to the Brownsville High School. I did not get to finish high school. Unfortunately, I was expelled, and not for a bad reason. My father had died, and when I went back to school 30 days later, I was just told that I'm out of school. Back then, there weren't no McDonald's. So the thing that I did at that point was going to the Army. Spent 4 years in the Army, in the Army Aviation, and ended up in Vietnam in 1969. Spent 12 months there. I learned a lot from there, benefited a lot, grew up a lot, and after that I came back to Brownsville. Continued my education at Texas Southmost College, and from there I went to Texas A&I. I attained my bachelor's degree in psychology, I got my master's degree in psychology, and I became a licensed professional counselor. I practiced in that area for several years. I also taught, I was an academic counselor at Texas Southmost, and was an employee of the county at some point, directed several programs. I think when you see my card, you'll see that I've done quite a bit of extensive work in the area of government. From there, after teaching and being a counselor, I decided to go continue my education, went to law school to South Texas College of Law. I graduated from there and got my license immediately thereafter. I've been practicing for approximately 19 years. I practiced in different areas of law, starting from juvenile law, family law, criminal law, products liability, premises liability, personal injury, legal malpractice, probate. Done quite a bit. It's a general practice. I don't specialize on anything, but I've limited my practice to that area, and I feel that I'm proficient in that area. I do practice in the federal system. I've been practicing in federal court since 1989. The same area of law being civil and criminal. However, in the last past year, 8 years, I've done a lot of bankruptcy-related cases, which are called adversary proceedings. And that was a new area for me, and I like it very much. At present, I'm still in private practice. I also practice for the Cameron County District Attorney's Office. I was a felony and misdemeanor prosecutor in Cameron County, and I was also a felony and misdemeanor prosecutor as well as civil prosecutor in Wilson County. Thank you.
And on my right is Rolando Lubetta. Mr. Lubetta, please.
Well, good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to see so many old, friendly faces that I've grown to know over the years as a former district judge. Before I get started, though, I'd be remiss if I don't make a few introductions. Please be patient with me. I want to introduce my lovely wife, Rita, and my two aunts, Celia Olvera and Ernestina Smart. Thank you all for being here. You know, many of you all know me and know my history, but I do think it is important for someone to share their history with some of those who don't know me. And I'm very proud of that history because it tells you a lot about the person and what we're about. My grandfather moved here in 1895 and had 5 children, and he married a Brownsville girl and raised us. And I believe we really do share the same values in terms of hard work, family, religion, and education. I was very fortunate to grow up in that atmosphere, and I was the first in all of my family to attend an Ivy League school. I competed with the best of the best, not just the best in Texas, but the best in the world, and graduated from Harvard University in 1985. Subsequently, I went to University of Texas School of Law and competed with the best that we have in our state, and graduated from there. And then returned to our beloved community of Brownsville and married a Brownsville girl, and now we have 2 children of our own, Phil, Raleigh, and Katerina, which are the light of our lives. And we're raising them the same way I was raised and Rita was raised in terms of religion, education, hard work. And those are the values that we want to share with our community and that we want to share in terms with our children to make this a better place. I've been very fortunate in my career. I had a very diverse career. I've been practicing like Roberts close to 20 years now. As a matter of fact, I think we both graduated the same year in 1989. And I've been very fortunate, though, in that I had a very diverse practice. I've been able and proud of the fact that I've been able to represent clients from the lowest courts of JP courts all the way to the appellate courts. I've argued the 5th Circuit Court of Appeals, and I'm successfully, I might add, and the 13th Court of Appeals. So my practice has been very diverse. And as you well know, I've had the great honor of being appointed twice as a district court judge and serving you in the 357th District Court for close to 2 years and the 138th District Court for 2 years. And currently I serve you as a judge, as a Brownsville Municipal Court judge. So I'm the only candidate in this race with judicial experience. I'm proud of that. We have an excellent record. We're not just doing a good job as a judge. I've done a great job as a judge. And I'm asking for your vote and support of this upcoming election. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge. We're going to have about a 30-minute session where we're going to ask the candidates the same questions. And the answers will be rather abbreviated. We're trying to cover some ground here, so some of the answers will be allocated 45 seconds. The longest ones will be 2 minutes, 2¼ minutes. So we did give the questions to the candidates when they came in this evening. That's the first time they saw them. And just so they could have an idea of how long they have to answer these questions. They're lawyers, they know how to do this, they've got the gift of gab, so they can compress some of these answers and tell us exactly what we need to know. So I'll start with Mr. Olvera. The first question is, why do you choose, it's number 1, why do you choose to run in this election as a Democrat? And what is it that you admire most about the Democratic Party that the Republican or any other party, for that matter, are lacking? 45 seconds.
Well, first of all, as you all just heard, I've been appointed twice and ran as a Republican twice and was proud to do so. No one can deny that I didn't keep my word to the governor, even though the right road is not the easy road. It would have been easier to run as a Democrat. We know we live in a Democratic county. I now have no obligations. I'm not an appointee. I'm a free agent, shall we say. And I'm proud to run as a Democrat in this county because my goal is to be your judge. It's not to be a legislator. It's not to promote any platform. And I've always promoted, if you all remember my campaigns, that there are no politics in the courtroom. So really this question is best served for a legislative position because there are legislative platforms that separate the parties. My job is not to get into that. My job is to enforce the law. There are no Democrats or Republicans in the courtroom. Thank you very much.
The Democratic Party, I believe, in my opinion, is a party that deals with people issues. They deal with the people, the concerns of the people, the concerns of the community, the concerns of the law that applies to those people. I feel, and I may be wrong, but I feel that the Republican Party is more concerned with the corporate America as opposed to the people. And that's my opinion.
Our second question, and we'll start with Mr. Mendoza, is the second question. Please explain why we should elect you to be 4/5 District Judge, what, in your opinion, it takes to be a good judge, and your goals if elected. Mr. Mendoza, minute and a half.
I invite everybody to get a card, one of these push cards they call, because it has my credentials in the back, and it has the experience that I've had throughout the years, not only in the legal field, but in the educational field, higher education. And like Judge Olvera, I've also had a appellate practice, and I have published opinions successfully. The education experience that I have, coupled with my experience in life, and coupled with the experience in the legal field, I feel it's what makes me the better candidate for this position. I believe that the elements that I've just mentioned give me that constitution for the temperance that you need in this office. My experience, like I said, I've tried cases from all the way from municipal court up to the federal courts, and unfortunately I've had cases where I've had to sue the Supreme Court. And so I feel that I have the experience that I need to be able to sit up there, hear the cases, deal with the facts, apply the law, and render a decision that's consistent with the laws of the state of Texas and the Constitution of the United States. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is number 3, gentlemen.
Excuse me, do I have a response?
Oh, you have
I have an answer. I'm sorry. All right. Well, once again, ladies and gentlemen, I believe we really have one of the best legal systems in the world, if not the best legal system in the world. But my life demonstrates that I'm always trying to set a higher bar. We can never be satisfied with the status quo. The themes of my court are very simple. Number 1, to manage a fair and consistent court that provides justice for all. Number 2, to enforce the law, not create the law. I really believe we're a society of laws and not of men. The third is to move the docket quickly and efficiently. Slow justice is no less than, I can't speak right now. Slow justice is no justice at all, and it really is incumbent upon us to move the dockets quickly. And the last but not least is to maintain the integrity of the judiciary and really avoid even the appearance of impropriety. It's our job as judges to be the front line in our legal community and to represent this community throughout the state with decorum, justice, integrity, and all that being a judge entails. As I've already stated to you, I'm the only one in this campaign with judicial experience. I've done a great job. I want to continue to serve you for many years to come. Thank you very much.
Leave the judges mess up. Gave it away. Our third question, and we'll start with Mr. Olvera. Who are your top 5 financial supporters, and how much do you expect to expend in this primary election and profitability will have in this election and in November, to include the primary and November? What do you expect to expend, and who are your 5 supporters?
Very simply, when I say that I've done a great job as a judge, actions speak louder than words. Not just my top 5, but every major law firm in Cameron County has committed to this campaign. My goal is to spend at least $100,000 in this primary. We have those kind of commitments because the bar believes in my campaign and believes in the job experience that I've provided and my proven record that I can continue to provide for many years to come. I will not have, obviously, as Mr. Munoz just indicated, we don't have any election in November, so we will be gearing all our efforts for this March, and in March, the campaign will be over. So I'm very excited to run a campaign and to present the best possible campaign to the people, to educate them about the differences between these two opponents. You know, this is not just a race about two nice guys. This is one of the most important positions that we have in our community. There is no position more powerful than a state district judge, and it is incumbent upon us to be educated about what a district judge does. So my goal is to educate the public about our differences and to educate them as to why I am the best qualified candidate. Thank you very much.
Mr. Mendoza.
I'd like to say that I had the financial support of every institution and every person in this community. However, mine is limited. In the past, I've run for the 138. I've spent $170,000. In the past, I've run, and as time goes on, I continue to garner more support from the community. In the last campaign, I spent $500 and garnered thousands of votes. So in this rate, I'm going to spend as much as I need to. However, right now, the race is being financed by me and my family at this point. And I'm still waiting to get some support from the local law firms in this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mendoza. This next question is one that I'm looking forward to the answer. It's number 6, gentlemen. This is, I've allocated 2¼ minutes for this answer. And the question is, please enumerate and explain which restraints are placed upon you by the state rules of judicial conduct and ethics that preclude you from answering those types of questions, and I expect you to tell us what they are, and the reason and logic behind those restraints. Mr. Mendoza, you're first.
This is kind of an odd question for me because I'm not a judge yet. I am seeking a judgeship, and so I've never been posed by the Judicial Commission any restrictions whatsoever. All I can tell you is that whatever is written, whatever is mandated, whatever is legislated in terms of the conduct of the judges, you will find one person that will follow those laws in me. Thank you.
Well, right away, ladies and gentlemen, I think you'll be able to see the difference between these two candidates. The Code of Judicial Conduct is very specific. It covers not only judges, but candidates in a judicial race. And we are all bound by the Code of Judicial Conduct, even as candidates and even though we are not current judges of the court we are running for. This question really is geared to Canon 3B10 of the Code, which addresses the fact that candidates and judges should not address public issues that are in front of the court or may appear in front of the court. And why is that? Well, once again, our job is to avoid the appearance of impropriety and to avoid the appearance to a reasonable person as to how we may decide in the future. We have 3 branches of government: the executive, the legislative, and the judicial. And the judicial must remain independent of the other 2 branches. If we coddle to the legislature, if we become part of the political platform, the judiciary would lose that independence. And that is why we must refrain from making public comments so that we are free to make legal decisions based on the law. You know, we were very fortunate in recent years to see 2 very highly qualified candidates in the Supreme Court be bombarded by questions by senators in terms of how they would rule in the future. And both of those gentlemen, both John Roberts and Samuel Alito, were consistent in saying, gentlemen, my job is to be a judge. My job is to enforce the law. I cannot comment on those positions because that would negate my independence as a judge. Once again, my job is to enforce the law. My job is to remain independent of the legislature remain independent of the executive branch. If the president was in front of me or the governor was in front of me and he was wrong in the law, he would be going, I would rule against him. He'd go to jail if necessary. Once again, this is the key in this race. Knowledge of the law, knowledge of the judiciary. This gentleman doesn't even know the Code of Judicial Conduct. That is our Bible. It is our Bible. It is incumbent that we know that. And once again, Canon 3B10 is the governing law that governs these kinds of questions. Thank you. Go ahead.
Mr. Mendoza has pointed out to me that Mr. Oletta's answer was a bit of an attack, he feels, so he is allowed a rejoinder under the rules that we have. So this will be the last statement on his part, and we'll move on to the next question.
Thank you. Leave the comment, and I'll have to paraphrase it. I don't know if I work with it. I don't know the law. I'm the only attorney that, if you check the Southwestern Reporter, that has had cases before Judge Olvera, and they've been overturned on appeal, his decisions, and those appeals were made by me. And I have those, and you can check them in the Southwest Reporter. So if anybody knows the law here, then I certainly know the law in my area at the time that we addressed them to the court. Thank you.
And, next question will be item 4 on your list. And we'll start with, who wants to start with this next one? I believe I will. Fine. And this will be item 4, and the question is, district judges as a group select and appoint and may reappoint county auditors for 2-year terms. I believe that's correct. What is your perception of the role of the auditor, his qualifications, and his relationship with the county judge, the county treasurer, and the district judges? Go ahead. 2 minutes.
Well, quite simply, the county auditor is the accountant for the county. It is the county auditors, as the name implies, to audit the county records and the financial data that is part of the county business on a yearly basis, including the budget and expenditures. In terms of his relationship with the county judge and the judges, it's his job to report the financial status, well-being of the county, both present and future, in terms of what needs to be done for budgeting concerns and tax concerns in the future. That's his job description. I really can't add much more to that. Thank you.
Basically, the county auditor, as mentioned by Judge Olvera, was simply accounting for the county. But they do have budgets for the district courts, and those district courts spend money in areas of staff, monies that go to special cases that require investigators, appointment of doctors, appointment of experts. So I believe that as long as a professional relationship is maintained with that office, that the relationship simply is one of business, and that's it.
Thank you, sir. Our next question will be number 7 on your list. And the question is, discuss plea bargain agreements, their purpose, and relationships and understandings between judges and district attorneys, and any influence or authority a district judge has in these matters. 2 minutes, gentlemen. Mr. Mendoza, you're first.
Plea bargains are basically a mechanism for getting a case to be resolved, a criminal case. You have a case that is going to go before a court, or is before the court, is going to go to trial. There's always a chance to resolve that case and avoid spending lots of money, a lot of the court's money, a lot of taxpayers' money. One of the things it does is gives the prosecutor and the defense an opportunity to evaluate the evidence before they present it to a jury. And at that point, try to negotiate a deal that both is within the law and the parties can live with. The influence that a judge has on that is basically that the judge will put the hot iron to them. That meaning that he's going to give them an opportunity to negotiate, and if not, then we're going to set this case for trial. And it saves a lot of money, it saves a lot of time. A lot of times it looks like there's some favoritism going on, but really it's a mechanism to get the cases resolved and spend the least amount of money from the taxpayers in this case. Thank you.
Well, plea bargains in layman's terms are settlement agreements between the state of Texas and a criminal defendant. Because of the size of the docket that we have, literally we have 16,000 criminal cases being filed. Bailiff? We literally have close to 16,000 cases or more being filed on the criminal docket yearly in Cameron County. So, and this statistically speaking, requires the plea bargain process. 95% of all criminal cases are plea bargained out, and as the name entails, the district attorney for the state bargains with a criminal defendant for a term of years in exchange for his plea of guilty. And a plea bargain is struck, and they agree to it. Now, the judge's role in that, to be quite frank, is I don't get involved in plea bargains. That's the negotiation process between the district attorney and the criminal defendant. They then present the plea bargain to the judge, and as judge, I then have discretion to either accept the deal or deny the deal. Now, if I deny the plea bargain, the criminal defendant would then have the opportunity to change his plea and go to trial. Once again, the judge is the final arbiter as to whether or not the plea bargain agreement does go forward. Now, as I said already, 95% of all plea bargains do go forward, but there are occasions when the judge is free to say, and I've done it, say, no, that's not a fair deal. One way or the other, this defendant has, for whatever reason, needs to go to trial. So it's important to be experienced in criminal law matters. It's important to be experienced in what the plea bargain process is, and it's important enough to have enough experience in jurisdictional and judicial experience when it's time to say no, because there are times that you do have to say no. But on the same token, there are times where you do have to move, once again, a quick and efficient docket, and I've done that in the criminal docket all my life. Anyway, thank you very much.
Our seventh question will be number 9, gentlemen. The question is, ad litem cases. Those cases attorneys are appointed to by the court in order to represent the interests of others, i.e. guardianship, probate, widows, orphans, those who are unable to defend their interests or their affairs. Would you consider a fair method of rotation in which willing and qualified attorneys would be selected without preferential selection on the part of the court? There are perceptions that this is not the case. We'll start with Mr. Levette. 1 minute.
Well, once again, in my experience as a district judge, this is what I've already done. Depending upon the type of case that I do have a list of attorneys based upon their areas of expertise, whether it's family law, criminal law, or civil law, and I do rotate and have rotated those attorneys on a random basis when those ad litem issues do come up. That is, in my view, the fair way to conduct the ad litem issue, and that's the way I've always conducted the ad litem issue. But I am one of the few courts that have added the twist of keeping the areas of expertise pertinent to the attorneys that I appoint. Thank you very much.
Basically, in that item is an attorney that's appointed by the court to assist the court in helping the parties decide whether there's been a fair settlement of the case, depending on the facts of the case, the parties, and the people that are involved. It is an important position or decision that the court makes in terms of appointing somebody, because they will decide if a person's outcome on a lawsuit is fair and just. Now, the thing about that is that in the past, it is, as Mr. Munoz says, it appears that there's not been a fair system of appointments. I believe there should be a fair system of appointments. What that system is, if nothing else, it should be in alphabetical order and determined by the type of case that is involved. There are sometimes that judges say that they have ad litems, appointments based on alphabetical order. However, in my opinion, sometimes some letters are missing out. So I would say, yes, we need a good rotating system.
Eighth question will be number 10 on your list, and it will be a 2-minute duration. The question is, discuss in your perception the duties and responsibilities of the district clerk and the interaction and relationships that the judges have both individually and as a group with the district clerk. Who's starting this time? Mr. Mendoza, 2 minutes, please.
Thank you. The district clerk here basically is an office that is a record-keeping institution, so to speak. It's an administration of records. Here, I believe that the important thing that needs to be addressed is that in order for the courts to have a smooth and efficient administration of all their files and have them orderly in an orderly fashion and being kept in such a manner that not only their system is kept intact, but their integrity is also protected. The judges have mainly the influence of, I believe, that in terms of deciding what types of procedures, how much money is going to go into that. However, the actual office is administered by the person that's elected to that office, and that would be the district clerk, in this case, Salvador Garza. But it's certainly two offices that need to work together in order to be effective and efficient in terms of processing the files that that are involved within the criminal and civil cases.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the district clerk's office and the district clerk for this county is Garza, is in charge of the intake of cases for all of the district courts. In terms of her duties with respect to the court, that interplay is that when a case comes to the district clerk's office, it is submitted through a computer and then randomly assigned to one of the 6 district courts, and now in the future, 8 district courts, depending upon the type of case. Now, each district judge basically has 3 employees that judge has the benefit of hiring, but one employee is the district clerk's employee, and the district clerk employee is part of the district judge's secretary. I'm sorry, these are your class. Who's best? The district clerk, one of the district clerks, is one of the judge's staff. So you have a daily interplay with not the district clerk, Garza, but a member of your staff who's in charge of organizing the cases that come in, filing the cases with a file stamp in terms of how the cases were adjudicated, and keeping a record of how those cases have been adjudicated regardless of what the type of case is. So yes, you have to have a constant monitoring of how your cases are being adjudicated, how the records are being kept, and keep on top of that. That's part of your duties as an administrator, aside from being a judge. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have a couple of other questions that aren't on your list. We didn't plan on tonight. This question will be the 9th question. There is in Texas a widely held perception that in South Texas there's an inordinate amount of influence, public, and impropriety between judges and attorneys. How will you comport yourself in order to dampen, negate, and dispel these perceptions? 1 minute answer. Mr. Olber.
Well, once again, actions speak louder than words. My experience has proven not only to the public but to the bar that regardless of who you are, regardless of how much you contribute, regardless of your political affiliation, my job is to enforce the law. I've already stated to you the themes of my court and how my record is to maintain a fair and consistent court. It doesn't matter who you are and who your attorney is. What matters is the law. So, one of my jobs and one of your jobs as the public is to elect judges that are qualified and competent to enforce the law. We can no longer afford, as a community, to not pay attention to who we're electing as judges. These, as I said before, are very important races, and we really need to study and do our homework in terms of who we believe and perceive to be the best qualified to enforce the law. I've proven that. That is my record, and so it's my job to not only maintain the integrity, but to uplift the integrity of the judiciary in years to come. Thank you very much.
are factors, we are people, we are humans, and when we become judges, we be judges that get affected by the things that happen around us. Obviously, contributions should be looked at. The associations that the judge keeps, that should be looked at. The judge should also pay attention to the fact, things that he might seem quite innocent, taking gifts, allowing somebody to take you on a trip or something. These are all things that we need to look at, however innocent they may look, and pay attention to them. The presumption is that there should be a straightforward relationship between attorneys, and that is there. However, human beings being what they are, there needs to be pressure from the outside, not only from the judges themselves, but from the other attorneys and colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mendoza. This will be our last question before we wrap up. And this is the 10th question. It's not on your list. We'll lighten it up a little bit. Which clubs and civic organizations have you participated in, starting with your formative years in middle school to present? Include political, religious, business, and fraternal appointments and affiliations. Mr. Mendoza.
What were the categories?
Political, religious, business, fraternal.
Okay. My religion is Catholic, I guess. Started at a very young age. I was an altar boy at the Ocular, and I stayed there for quite a while. I believe that people in general should have faith, somebody to look up to, somebody to believe in. I'm certain we might not have that faith. With respect to political affiliations, I've been a Democrat all my life. As I said earlier, I believe that the Democratic Party, in my opinion, concentrates on people and the problems that affect them. And based on that, my beliefs and involvement has been with the Democratic Party. I'm not a member of any business organization per se. I've been involved in businesses, I've been in private business myself. However, there are no affiliations that I have. I have been a board member for the Brownsville Community Health Clinic. It was only recently that my health, I had pneumonia, and several lapses in order to bow out of that position at that time. Basically, I was very involved when I came back from Vietnam in 1969, it was 1970 after that, and I was a director of Veterans Program here in Brownsville. I was the director of the Veterans Program based on the college at Texas Southern College, and I was the director of a Veterans Program at Cameron County. So basically, that was my affiliation in terms of organizations in this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mendoza. Go back.
Thank you. Well, I really need to rush on this one because I have a lot to my record. I am a Catholic and proud to be that. Our family are members of St. Mary's Church. I was an altar boy. I've been an athlete all my life, captain of the last football team to win the state championship here in Brownsville, St. Joe in 1980. But the bulk of my extracurricular activities for this community have always focused on education. I was one of the founding members for the Children's Museum. I was one of the founding members for the United Way Success by Six program, which focuses on garnering a strong platform for underage children. I was appointed by the governor to the Texas Lottery Commission, and I'm proud of the fact that during my term as Lottery Commissioner, we raised over $2 billion, that's B with a B, dollars for the Texas Education Fund. I am now a member of the Brownsville Community Foundation, which focuses on asking for charitable donations to better Brownsville and this community. So my entire life has been focused on bettering our children and bettering our community. My record is very clear on that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen. That concludes our question and answers. We now have the our wrap-up, candidate wrap-up. That would be a 2.5 minute wrap-up of your part. So who's going to be first? Who's first? Who's first? Mr. O'Bethany, two and a half minutes.
All right, and this is just a general wrap-up?
Yes, whatever you want to say.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think you can see some very distinct differences between myself and Mr. Mendoza, and I humbly ask for your support because I truly believe that I am the best qualified candidate. Forgive me, but this is not a time of being immodest. I'm trying to get your vote. And the reason, but when I say that, I don't believe it's just my subjective opinion. I think it's an objective fact that my life has proven that I have time and again competed with the world's best and have tried to, thankfully, share my blessings with this community. My goal has always been, and I've proven that time and again, to serve as your judge and to be your judicial servant for many years to come. And I've proven that I've done everything possible to accomplish that goal. Once again, being appointed by the governor was a great honor. There's no doubt about that. There's very few people that can claim that. And on the same token, I gave my word and I kept my word and ran as a Republican and was proud to do that. But it would have been easier to run as a Democrat and break my word. And I think people respect the fact that I kept my word and ran as a Republican. Now, as I said before, I'm a free agent and free and proud to run as a Democrat and represent the majority of our political interests that are here in Cameron County. My goal, once again, is to be your judge, not just for the next 4 years, but thankfully, I'm 45. I think I can serve for at least the next 10 years if that keeps me healthy enough. And God willing, I am in good health. And once again, everything I've done for this community, I want to continue to share. I want to continue to share my blessings. I want to raise the bar, no pun intended. That has always been my goal, not just for my family and myself, but the judiciary and this legal community. I have some push cards in the back. I have some window stickers. We have signs if necessary. I truly ask that you get involved in this campaign. This is a truly important campaign because the faces that you elect to the judiciary will affect this legal community for the next generation to come. And it's incumbent upon you as a public to say, I wish I had gotten involved. I wish I had voted for Judge Ovetta. He's the type of judge. He's the type of person this community needs. God bless you and thank you very much.
Mr. Mendoza, 2.5 minutes.
Thanks again for letting us be here, share a little bit of ourselves. Thank you all for being present, and I'd like to recognize my wife, Alice Milano Mendoza, and who are here to support me. My son couldn't make it. At the risk of being extremely honest, the differences that I see at this point is that both of us, being Judge Rovega and myself, have run for office and we have both lost. The thing about it is now that we're both here and we're the only candidates in this court. So it is an interesting race. We're both qualified. However, I feel that my qualifications, I went to a private school too. I went to South Texas School of Law. And that is a school where there's not just professors there in theory practicing. There are judges, there are attorneys that are practicing and teaching law. So that gives you an on-the-job experience like this and there. Additionally, my 20 years or close to 20 years of experience in multi-type of litigation, I think presents me as a worthy candidate. In addition to my education, and in addition to my affiliations, in addition to the areas that I have practiced in. So basically, I feel that my life experience, at this point I'm 58 years old, and I still can go hopefully till maybe 100. My mom, who is 92 years old, couldn't make it, but she's there to support me. So hopefully I'll have your support in this upcoming race, and I'll be your next judge. Thank you.
Well, I for one am impressed with the candidates, and I'd like to wish them both good luck, and let's have a hand for the candidates. We're now going to take a 5 or 10 minute intermission.
We're going to have a break, but don't go because we got another group of attorneys that are trying to be the judge for the other court, okay?